What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Competitive 24. No, I'm just playing. Competitive 24 is no longer existing. I made the switch to Athlete Testimony. This is a podcast which we're going to interview athletes, and not just interview athletes. I'm going to go through my testimony, my journey, my journey to the Lord, my journey into believing in Jesus Christ, believing in God. This is something that I wanted to do for a while now, and I know my last podcast was 2022. I believe it was October, and it was just coming to an end, I believe. And I know in 2023, I kind of wanted to make the switch, but just really busy in life. I mean, you guys know how it goes. It's just one thing after another. You wanted to start something, and all of a sudden you couldn't do it. So I think right now is a great time to kind of get into what I kind of want to do all along in the podcast. Basically, reaching out to people, telling them about the Lord, telling them about my experience, telling them about other people's experience, and how I'm going to be interviewing people on this podcast and actually YouTube channel. So, if you guys want to, obviously go ahead and support the channel and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can get it on YouTube at Athletes Testimony. It should just pop up right there. If not, let me know. And you can also obviously follow me on Instagram, Athletes Testimony. And it's gonna be a fun show because I think that this is more just real. I know before, talking to different guests on Competitive 24, and obviously making my own videos and podcasts on Competitive 24. It wasn't. I don't feel it was really reaching anybody. I felt like I did have an audience. At the same time, I felt like it could be a lot better, and I mean, I could reach a lot more people. Especially what I'm doing now is going to be really touching people, and I'm really trying to save people, and I'm really trying to get into the people's, into them, what their families going through, and how I can basically save them as a whole. So I think that overall, this is going to be, one of these shows that is going to just reach a bunch of athletes and see how they went through things and see how your life actually compares to them. Obviously, how your life differs from them and how you can actually learn from all sorts of athletes and athletes in general. And I think that for me in general, I'm going to be sharing my testimony and how I was kind of brought up, and how I was introduced into the Christianity, um as an adult, and as a kid it was nothing. Didn't believe in really, not to say I was an atheist. I mean, I always believed in God, and it was a God, but growing up, how I grew up, it was just mostly focused on sports, family time, and just having fun in general. But it wasn't a walk, with the Lord at all, because I didn't know, until I was introduced into how it actually works when I was in Hawaii. I know I shared a video on my Instagram and how, one of my teammates actually introduced to, the Christian athletes worship class, and so the FCA, the Fellowship Christian Worship Class, and so basically got invited, to one of their Wednesday classes, and it pretty much went from there, and I loved it, and I made it a joke, not really a joke. I mean, I really, this really actually happened. He invited me, and he's basically saying that it's going to be food, free food, and you should definitely come check it out. And so I told him, why not? It's going to be free food. I'm gonna be hungry after practice, after a workout anyway, so you can count me in. So when I went there, it really changed me. It really changed my life, and I mean, it wasn't then, I should say, that I was actually kind of transformed. I was just introduced to the Christianity and how everything works. Um, when I was obviously in Hawaii, playing football, I was obviously attending, but I didn't really. take it, I guess, serious. And I was kind of like a lukewarm Christian, you can say. I mean, hear some people, on YouTube or however you get your videos, you listen to Christian, worship videos or just Christian YouTubers or anybody in general that knows the work. I was a lukewarm Christian, and I wasn't really practicing, the word. I would pray, not every day. I would pray that, things work out obviously for me and my family, but it just wasn't consistent. And I think that, not going in all the way actually opened my eyes into later down the road. Um, when I became, a little bit older, obviously, I moved back to the States. I met my wife. I was actually introduced to this is how it really should go. You should practice kind of what you preach, and you should actually practice on, practicing and getting close to the Lord, praying every day, making a relationship. And I know that, I want to emphasize on that, during this, during my walk and during these next episodes, coming to this podcast, it's about the relationship with the Lord. And, a lot of people think it's, they're in, they a lot of people, I should say, they want to sometimes make excuses, and some people make excuses, whatever it is, I don't have time, or, when I did this happened to me when I was little or whatnot. But it's not about what you've been through. It's about what your relationship is. And it's not just about you, it's about who's next. It's about the other. What you're experiencing now, you have to realize this is that it's just not just you, you're just experiencing now, but this is for another person that's going to follow you. So this person can be, one of your childs. It can be a nephew, niece. It can be one of your classmates. It can be a student of yours. I mean, it can be literally anybody that's going to go through something similar, and you would have to share your testimony. This is some of the reasons why I wanted to make a switch from, just talking about sports, interviewing athletes, and it was obviously good, but it wasn't. I feel actually touching people how I actually wanted to, and I wanted to make an emphasize on, what I'm doing now is actually getting to people. It's no talking about sports and how, Steph Curry dropped 50, or how the 49ers just made it to another Super Bowl. And it's not about that no more. And I mean, I love to talk about sports, anytime, but for this podcast, for what I'm doing now, is going to be a lot different, and reaching out to athletes that follow Christ, and athletes that, want to get mentored, and they want to make the switch. They want to go towards the Lord and be a true Christian and go all in all the way. And, like I said, when I was playing, it was a lukewarm Christian for sure. I would, go to church Sundays, sometimes go to church Sundays. I'll make the Wednesday class because it had food. But I was just lukewarm, going out parties on Saturday after the game, just watching football on Sunday all day. It was, I wasn't living a life as a Christian should. And, I can, share my testimony on that. But the whole idea, like I said, with this podcast is just opening up people's eyes, and from either coaches, from other athletes, from trainers, parents, uncles, everybody in general. And I just want to go ahead and put this platform out there that, these are athletes. These are real athletes that I know. These are some athletes probably I've never met before, but I got introduced. So I'm actually doing an episode on that particular athlete. But these are real people that had, the same experience that you might be going through. And this is just a learning process. And this is what we're here for. I believe truly that we are all, obviously, we are all here for a reason. And everybody has some type of gift. And God sees you for who you are. This is extremely important for people that's, might be lost, might be, kind of confused on, what they're doing in life, and how they, how they move forward. And it's just, going, you know kind of living in today's society. It could be tricky. It's one of these, it's just hard because of what you have in social media, what you have online, what we have in America today. It can be very tough. And so, like I said, I want to, share the light of what I went through. Not just a Christian, even as an African American kid growing up in the Bay Area. I know there's plenty of athletes here that can actually share their story, and I can share obviously my story. But it's not just about me. It's not about us. It's about how many people we can reach out and see if how we can connect. And this is how I'm going to share, what I have. And I think that, for me, this is my calling. And I think that I was called here for, for multiple reasons, but I think this is one of them. I think this is a blessing that I have. I can be able to share my word, my testimony, my story, what I went through, and I can put other people on the platform and pretty much do the same thing. And that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing for the near future. So I'm not sure how many episodes we're going to try to knock out, but it's gonna be one heck of a show. So I just want to thank everybody from Competitive 24. If you're obviously still interested in it, I definitely want you to continue to listen to an athlete testimony and see what we can kind of build from there. Pretty much the way you can follow me on Instagram, you can follow me on YouTube. I believe the Instagram handle is changed to Athletes Testimony. And like I said, the YouTube, pretty much the same thing. You can go ahead and reach me there. And obviously, you can obviously email me however you want. But like I said, this is a journey that it needs to begin, and it's kind of prolonged it, way too long, and just need to get back into it. So once again, thank everybody for continuing to listen to the old Competitive 24. And even if I was going to say another thing is that when you search Competitive 24, I believe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or however you get your podcast, you can actually see the athlete's testimony pop up. So you can actually see it pop up. So you can still hear the Competitive 24 old episodes. So I'm still going to leave that there, just because I think it's a step into how I'm pretty much growing. And so I'm growing into a better Christian. I'm growing into, a better individual moving forward. And so that's what I want to kind of emphasize too. So you can still listen to how, I just started Competitive 24, 4 years ago. Then now it's changing. It's kind of evolving into athletes' testimony. So I'm excited. I'm pumped up, and I can't wait to interview, multiple guests. I have a couple people already that pretty much got a hold of, and we're gonna, set some dates and set some time and kind of knock out these episodes. So it's gonna be different. Like I said, Competitive 24 is strictly on sports and how I felt, and my takes, and things like that. But this is gonna be definitely different. Hopefully, you guys will be obviously interested in it, and I can't wait to get started. So, thank you for tuning in. Like I said, just reach out however you want on the social media. I'm gonna keep knocking out the short videos, short clips, or whatnot, and keep you guys posted. So, any questions, definitely let me know. Once again, this is Calvin Roberts. This is the new podcast, Athlete's Testimony. I'll holler at you guys later. Peace.